why you feel trapped between two versions of yourself. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were summoned by something you've been avoiding. The uncomfortable recognition that you are currently inhabiting a body that no longer fits the shape of who you're becoming. And that suffocation, that exquisite psychological violence of being trapped between selves, is precisely why these words found you in the algorithm's endless dark. Listen closely. You are experiencing what the ancients called limen, the threshold, the space between where you were and where you're going. And in this maddening suspension, you have become a living paradox. You exist in two mutually exclusive realities simultaneously, and the cognitive dissonance is tearing you apart from the inside. But here's what nobody tells you about this place. It was designed to break you. Right now, as you listen to this, there are two voices warring inside your skull. One is the polished persona you've constructed, the version of yourself you present to the world, to your family, to the mirror each morning. The other is something darker, something hungrier. Carl Jung called this the shadow, and he understood something most people spend their entire lives running from. The shadow is the door to our individuality. It contains not just your failures and your shame, but also your raw, unfiltered will to power. Every time you've sabotaged yourself, every time you've chosen comfort over ambition, every time you've stayed silent when you wanted to roar, that was your shadow, pulling strings you didn't even know existed. The in-between space forces you to confront this, because when the old identity dissolves and the new one hasn't yet solidified, there's nothing left to hide behind. You feel stuck because you are stuck, between the person you pretended to be and the person you're too afraid to become. And the shadow produces a dead balance, a standstill that hampers moral decisions. You can no longer lie to yourself about who you actually are. But the liminal space is not neutral. It's not simply a bridge between 2 points. It's an active psychological battlefield where your old self is fighting for survival, using every manipulation tactic it knows to keep you from crossing over. Because if you become who you're meant to be, the current version of you dies. And it knows this. So it whispers. It tells you that you're not ready, that you need more time, more preparation, more proof. It floods your mind with doubt on the days you feel closest to breakthrough. This isn't randomness. This is psychological warfare. Some days you wake up electric with clarity. Other days you can barely move. Your ego is using every tool in its arsenal: fear, procrastination, false rationalization, to maintain control over territory it's about to lose forever. The ego adapts its strategies to the situation, like a Machiavellian prince managing a crumbling kingdom. And you, the conscious mind, are the territory being fought over. Here's what most people miss. You're not waiting for the right moment. You're waiting for the suffering to become unbearable enough that staying where you are becomes more terrifying than the unknown ahead. Jung understood this. No progress or growth is possible until the shadow is adequately confronted. But confrontation doesn't mean acknowledgement. It means shock. A visceral, undeniable collision with the truth of who you are beneath all the stories. The liminal space floods your brain with uncertainty and ambiguity because your nervous system is trying to force a decision by making both options excruciating. It's not trying to help you, it's trying to survive you. And so you wait, not for clarity, but for the moment when the current version of yourself becomes so intolerable that you have no choice but to annihilate it and walk through the fire. Now, let's talk about that future version of yourself, the one you can feel waiting on the other side of all this doubt. You sense them, don't you? Confident, successful, finally arrived. so close you can almost touch them. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That vision is partially a lie your ego created to keep you in motion without actually changing. It's a carrot on a stick, a psychological manipulation to make you believe that if you just keep grinding, keep suffering, keep staying in the game, eventually you'll transform into that person. But transformation doesn't work through accumulation. It works through destruction. The person on the other side of this isn't the refined version of who you are now. It's someone else entirely, someone who had to let the current you die in order to be born. And that's why you're stalling, because deep down, you know that crossing the threshold means you won't survive the journey. Not the real you, not the one listening to these words right now. The motivational voices tell you to keep showing up, to stay consistent, to trust the process. And you do. Day after day, you perform the rituals of someone who's serious about change. But ask yourself this, are you actually transforming, or are you just maintaining the illusion of progress? Most people treat the liminal space like a waiting room, performing busy work to feel productive, while secretly hoping they'll never have to face what's on the other side of the door. You keep journaling, you keep setting goals, you keep doing the work, but none of it touches the core issue. You're terrified of letting go, of admitting that the person you've been for all these years might have been a performance, a construction, a defense mechanism against the much larger, much more dangerous self that's been waiting in the shadows. The ego uses projection as a mechanism to defend itself and protect its perceived identity. So while you tell yourself you're in process, you're actually fortifying the walls around the very self that needs to collapse. And here's where it gets darker. The liminal space isn't just psychological, it's political. It's a power struggle between competing parts of yourself. And like any political theater, it's filled with manipulation, strategy, and calculated deception. The most successful Machiavellian you'll ever encounter is the one inside your own skull. Every excuse you generate, every rationalization for why today isn't the right day, every moment you choose the comfortable narrative over the uncomfortable truth, that's your internal strategist at work, carefully managing the theater of transformation while ensuring nothing actually changes. You've been telling yourself that doubt is normal, that struggle is part of the process, that patience is a virtue. And all of that might be true, but it's also tactical. It's your ego buying time, delaying the inevitable confrontation, extending the liminal phase indefinitely because it knows that once you truly cross over, it loses control forever. The question isn't whether you'll move forward. The question is, how long will you allow yourself to be manipulated by the very part of you that fears your own potential? Let me tell you what's really happening in this space between selves. You're carrying two versions of yourself right now. The old one that's dissolving and the new one that's forming. And that weight, that psychological burden of being two people at once is why some days you can barely function. It's not weakness, it's the cost of metamorphosis. The caterpillar doesn't gently transition into a butterfly. It liquefies. It becomes soup inside the cocoon. Complete structural annihilation before reorganization into something that can fly. That's what's happening to you. You're dissolving, and your conscious mind is trying desperately to make sense of the process, to find patterns, to predict when the breakthrough will come. But you can't predict it. You can only prepare for it. And preparation doesn't look like motivation. It looks like being willing to stay present while your entire identity dismantles itself. Every person who's made it to where you're trying to go went through this exact phase. The place where you can see the destination, but you're not there yet. The place where belief and doubt trade places every other day. The place where you're doing everything right and seeing no immediate results. They all lived here. And they all thought the same thing you're thinking right now. Maybe I'm different. Maybe it works for other people, but not me. Maybe I'm not talented enough, connected enough, lucky enough. But they stayed anyway. Not because they were more confident than you, but because they didn't let the doubt make the decision. They let the action make the decision. And here's what they discovered on the other side. The in-between wasn't the obstacle. It was the answer. It was where they became who they needed to be. Because the liminal space doesn't just test whether you want the goal. It tests whether you're willing to become unrecognizable to get there. You wanted a framework, something practical. Here it is. Stop measuring your progress by how you feel. Feelings lie. Feelings fluctuate based on sleep, stress, comparison, 1,000 variables that have nothing to do with whether you're actually moving forward. Instead, measure your progress by what you did. Not what you felt while doing it, just what you did. Did you show up today? Even if it was messy, even if it felt pointless, even if you barely got anything done, you showed up. That's data. Did you take one action, any action, that moved you even slightly closer to where you want to be? You did. That's data. Did you not quit? Did you wake up and keep going, even though part of you wanted to stop? You did. And that is the only measurement that matters in the liminal space. Because here's the secret they don't tell you. The in-between phase isn't preparation for success. It is success. It's the most alive you'll ever be. Once you make it, once you're on the other side, you'll have new problems, new pressures, new versions of the in-between. Success doesn't end the uncertainty, it just changes the level you're playing at. So if you're waiting to feel successful before you let yourself enjoy the process, you'll never enjoy anything. This is it. This phase, this struggle, this beautiful, brutal, character-forging season. This is where you become the person capable of holding what you're asking for. So stop rushing through it. Stop wishing it was over. Because one day, you'll look back and realize this was the time you were most hungry, most driven, most willing to sacrifice everything for the vision in your head. That hunger is precious. Don't waste it wishing you were already full. Now here's the part that might disturb you. The breakthrough you're waiting for doesn't arrive when you're ready. It arrives when you break. The breakdown of the persona opens the road to the shadow within. The transformation you're seeking doesn't come through gradual accumulation of readiness. It comes through collapse. Through the moment when the psychic structure holding your current identity together finally cracks under its own weight. You can't rush this. You can't hustle through it. You can only endure it until the moment your entire psychological architecture shatters and rebuilds itself into something new. Some spend years here, some decades. And in this time of descent, genuine courage and strength are required, with no certainty of emergence. You're not waiting for permission. You're waiting for the internal collapse that finally forces you to let go of everything you thought you were. And when that moment comes, not when you feel ready, but when the current version of you simply cannot hold itself together anymore, the breakthrough won't feel like victory. It will feel like death. Because it is. The old self dies, and in that death, the new one finally breathes. So here you are, suspended between two incompatible realities, carrying the weight of a self that's dissolving and a self that hasn't yet formed. And now you understand. This place was never meant to be comfortable. It was never meant to offer clarity or answers or a roadmap. The liminal space is an invitation to surrender, to trust that you will be held and supported. But surrender doesn't mean relaxation. It means accepting that you are being actively dismantled, piece by piece, so that something else can take your place. You wanted confirmation that you're on the right path. Here it is. The fact that you're suffering means you're standing exactly where transformation demands you stand. The fact that you haven't given up yet means some deeper part of you knows what's on the other side is worth the psychological violence of getting there. But understand this, the person who crosses the threshold will not be you. Not the you that's listening right now. That version dies in the crossing. And only when you finally accept that death, when you stop resisting it and start walking toward it, will the liminal space release you. The truth is you're closer than you think, closer than your doubt wants you to believe, closer than your circumstances currently reflect. The gap between where you are and where you're going is smaller than it's ever been. Not because time has passed, but because you've changed. You've grown. You've become someone different than who you were when you started this journey. And that growth, that transformation, that's what closes the gap. Not luck, not timing, not external circumstances finally aligning. You. Becoming the person who doesn't need perfect conditions to succeed, who doesn't need constant validation to keep moving, who doesn't need to see the whole path to take the next step. That person is forming right now, in the in-between, in the doubt, in the days where you showed up anyway. And when you finally break through, when you're standing on the other side looking back, you'll see that the liminal space wasn't the obstacle. It was the crucible. It was where you became who you needed to be. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop performing transformation. Stop believing that if you just endure long enough, you'll somehow remain intact while everything changes around you. You won't. The only way out is through complete annihilation of who you've been. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner the real work can begin. This message found you in the middle of it, and you won't need to see it again. Because by the time you're looking for it, you'll already be living proof that the in-between was worth it, that the death was necessary, that the person you were had to dissolve so the person you're becoming could finally take form. The liminal space doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't care about your timeline. It only asks one thing. Are you willing to let the old you die so the new you can live? That's the only question that matters. And the answer reveals itself not in what you say, but in whether you're still here, still moving, still breathing through the dissolution. You are. And that means you already know what comes next. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. This is MindX. Welcome home.